TikTok's US algorithm is about to completely reset, and this is how it will make or break you as an artist. TikTok ran into a serious problem where the US government was pressuring them to either sell to a US investor or they would just ban it in the US completely. So, of course, they are now going to divest, which means they have to sell US operations to an American entity. That ended up being a company called Oracle, which is a huge tech giant. Oracle now has majority control of TikTok in the US, which is absolutely insane. It means all US user data will be hosted on the Oracle cloud on US servers in order to address security concerns. This creates a fundamental shift where TikTok's American future is now really just in the hands of the American stakeholders. So ByteDance's stake in TikTok US now has gone all the way down to only 20%. It's very low. And what that means is that now their influence over what is shown on American TikTok is extremely diminished. So the US investors have already said that they have a plan to completely re-engineer from the ground up the entire TikTok algorithm. And this is going to shake up everything, not only in the music industry, but just the perspective and the viewpoints that people see on a daily basis on social media in general. As you can see, it goes from the US data gets collected, the model gets trained, it goes to the US servers, and then all of a sudden that creates this whole new algorithm that is going to push certain videos to you that maybe you would have never seen before. Huge problem with this is that they can also now decide to censor certain viewpoints and be able to just only push their agenda over other foreign agendas, etc. So how is this different from the algorithm before that you used to see when you'd open up TikTok? Well, basically the algorithm before was trained on global data. So everything from all around the world and whatever was trending, whatever was popular at the time, that would get pushed to the For You page. But now that's all out the window. Now this new For You page is going to be built from scratch and it's going to be US centric on a US data set and completely retrained. So that means that previous things that made you go viral on TikTok might not make you go viral anymore. And especially if you're an artist that's outside of the US, you are going to get very low preferential treatment on the priority list. And if you're a US artist, you may or may not get pushed on the For You page. We don't even know how they're going to prioritize or rank music on the platform at all at this point. We're just going to have to wait and see. Here's my big concern is I have a real suspicion that US-based major labels are going to get preferential treatment over independent artists on the new algorithm. And the reason is because the major labels have strong ties to these US tech giants. And you already know that if they get together and they decide to play ball, that you're going to start seeing a lot of the major label artists' content get pushed to the For You page. So that brings up the concerns, can independent artists still reach global audiences? And also, how will US-centric retraining affect non-US artists? A big reason why a lot of these artists from all over the world were able to break new genres and gain popularity was because of TikTok. You'd have these people that were in different countries, and then people in the US could see this music that they were posting and the content they were pushing, and then they would become massive superstars. Well, if we have this TikTok algorithm trained on only US data and it has preferences for US content, then maybe you're not going to be seeing all those cool new artists from all around the world that have global sounding music anymore. So if you want to start going down kind of the conspiracy theory realm here, a lot of people are saying that this US takeover is really done to push political agendas. So political capture, they'll be able to steer people's opinions and viewpoints that can influence future elections and policy within the United States. The new algorithm might also favor US companies' content over foreign companies' content. And also there's a concern that there might be an increase in data mining on US soil, even more than it was before when it was owned by the Beijing company ByteDance. So why should music artists really care about this? Well, before, you could have your music and you as an artist get discovered fresh off the algorithm, just on the For You page. It was seen as a launch pad for viral hits. And there was strategies that built on the algorithms of TikTok. You could have a content strategy where you can kind of almost know that you can blow yourself up as an artist or blow a song up if you post enough content that has the right viral hooks and the right content strategy behind it. But the new reality is all the rules have been rewritten now. Everything's out the window. We don't really know what it's going to take to be able to go viral on TikTok anymore because it's a completely new algorithm. Now, this brings up the huge point in the fact that if you rely on one or two platforms to be able to build the success of your career, you're almost always going to lose because you're putting your career in the hands of tech giants that do not care about you and do not care about your success in music or your success in anything. We saw it happen earlier with Vine and MySpace, and those things are completely gone now. Same thing can happen with something like TikTok, where this is basically a brand new platform. TikTok is now going to be something completely different than what we have seen over the last decade. And so that brings me to my next point, that you have to diversify your business as an artist. Yes, you can try to get popular on social media, get your streams up, but at the same time, you should be looking at other avenues of how you can generate income from your music. That is why we are so heavy on trying to promote the fact that artists need to get into sync licensing, getting your music in TV and film where you don't have to rely on an algorithm to do it. And these are assets that'll last forever. And it really just comes from the ground and pound of cold reach out, getting your music in the right people's hands, and then sitting back and just waiting for those royalties to come in and making a ton of music and putting it in the right places. The landscape of music discovery is completely shifting, and it has been for a while. It now is to a point where over 50% of music discovery happens from people hearing a song for the first time on a TV show on Netflix or Hulu or some other streaming service. And so people will hear a song, they'll Shazam it, and then they'll go listen to it and save it to their Spotify profile. Now, that's just going to keep getting more and more prominent as we see way more content getting put out by the big streaming networks. And it's something that if you can take advantage of as an artist, it has a big payoff and will give you massive exposure to an audience that you couldn't even reach before. Now, I have a whole other video describing how I think it's actually way more valuable to have one song in TV than it is to have 1 million streams on Spotify. Not only that, it's way harder to even get that amount of streams on a song just by pumping content on social media. Whereas if you get one placement in a TV series or a film or ad placement, those things will be much more stable in the amount of revenue that you can generate from them over time. And you're not going to have to rely on these algorithms that change up every day, every week, every year. All right, guys, I hope you got some value out of that. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. I'm posting on here all the time. And as always, drop a comment with any questions you have or comments about the music business or questions about sync licensing, whatever. And I will make a video based on your comment. All right, guys, catch you on the next one. Peace.